Stevie, we're back here again for pre-season. It's probably felt like you've never been away with such a busy summer for yourself.
Yeah, it's been, I've managed to get away a couple of weekends, but it's been full on. With a big turnover in players, obviously we let a few go and we've had to bring a few in, but it's been an exciting summer and one that we've been working hard behind the scenes.
You've been bringing in players of a different variety of positions and ages. If we go through a few of them, Matty Bowman and Gabby McGill have came up from down south, and that's a result of commitment that they've decided to leave their families behind and take up full-time football with Dunfermline.
Yeah, it's young boys, 17, 18 years of age, to come up to Scotland and move away from their families shows the ambition that they've got. We had them up last year at separate times and showed them around the place, and the fact that they're coming up here to compete for places in a first team squad and then seeing East End and what that has to offer, it was something that attracted them to the club and one that we'll hopefully benefit from.
Kyle Turner's another one that's stepped up from part-time football, albeit with Stranraer. Is he someone who you've mentioned already could play across the midfield, or is he someone you feel is more than ready to step up after a lot of games down in League One?
Yeah, Kyle's one that's played over 100 games at League One level from a young age, so he's exciting. He can take the ball in the half turn, he can play anywhere across the midfield, so he'll be adaptable and he'll be hungry to show that he can play at this level. The one thing with Kyle is he's making a step up, and even it's his first year at full time, so we've just got to watch it. We're not expecting too much from him too early, but one that I'm sure will flourish as the season progresses.
You've got a lot of players signed up early doors, as well as players that were already here for next season. Good spine to the team of Ryan Scully, Danny Devine, Lee Ashcroft, Tom Beadle and Andy Ryan, guys that have been here and done it for a couple of seasons now, so they're the ones that the new guys coming in will look towards.
Yeah, it's important, the names that you mentioned there, that they know what the club's all about, and they'll sort of take a responsibility for the season ahead, that they know what's expected of them. There'll be an element of disappointment, but I don't want them to dwell on that. Very much now looking forward and not what's happened behind us, and I'm sure they'll be excited that they're going to be part of the plans moving forward.
Jackson Longridge has of course moved on over the last couple of days to Bradford City. You've been down to England yourself, so you'll know exactly what it's like when that opportunity arises, something that he probably couldn't turn down. Yeah,
I think there were a few clubs, sniffing away in the background for Jackson, and it's everything that we're trying to promote at the club at the moment. Young players coming in, if they do well and attract the eye and an opportunity arises, we won't step in their way. It's up to us then to try and find the next one. But Jackson will go with our best wishes, and we wish him well for whatever lies ahead next season down at Bradford.
That move has helped you bring in Ewan Murray. He's someone that's adaptable across the back four. Do you see him being a straight replacement at left back?
No, well the thing with obviously Jackson moving on, it frees up funds and gives us an opportunity to bring in other players. As I say, I'm thankful to Ross and the board that they've been working hard over the summer to allow us to bring in players to the club, and hopefully there'll be a couple more to follow, but Ewan can play anywhere across the back four. The thing I like about the big man is I've seen him a few times myself over the last couple of years, that it doesn't affect his game. He's a fully committed player. He's at a good age, he's 25 years of age, and he's had a couple of good seasons at Raith Rovers under his belt and played a lot of games, so I'm sure he'll see it as the next test, the next challenge in his career, and hopefully Dunfermline are the ones that benefit from it.
One thing about him is he captained Raith at points last year. You've also brought in Paul Payton, someone that's experienced and had that armband, so there's a group of players in here now that are hoping to lead the team forward.
Yeah, football's not always an easy game, and you go out as a professional football player, and if things aren't going right on the park, it takes a certain amount of mental toughness, and I'm sure Ewan will have added that over the last couple of years when he's played along at Starks Park. Paul's, it's great to get him on board. He's not only has he been through a similar experience to what some of the young boys will hopefully go on to achieve here as when he was at Partick Thistle, but he's also got experience of playing in the top league with Dundee United and St Johnstone, so that's invaluable for not just his presence on the park but what he brings off the park as well.
Signing Paul, we were speaking to him earlier and he was saying the ambition of the club really attracted them here. Is that great to hear from someone who you know, I think he's probably the oldest player within the squad, so it's great that you're able to attract guys that aren't just coming here for a final payday, they're coming here to try and achieve things.
No, again, when I spoke to Paul, he doesn't see it as sort of coming out and sort of seeing his career finishing. You know, at Dunfermline, he's 32 years of age, he's a fit boy. But I think he's going to enjoy the responsibility. I think that was attracted him. Obviously, playing in the Championship and coming to a club that's going to be competing in the Championship, and what his experience was going to help bring to the squad. So, as I say, one that I think will not just see the qualities that he's got on the pitch, but also off the pitch, he'll benefit us. Another
recent addition is Kevin Nisbet from Wraith, someone that you have watched a lot and liked a lot of what you've seen, a lot of goals for Wraith last season in particular. What do you feel he could bring to the squad?
No, Kevin scored goals at League One level, and you know, he scored all different types of goals, which excites me. Again, I had seen him on a few occasions. I've had people watch him. Sometimes he could be having a quiet game, and then out of nowhere he just finds himself in the right place. So yes, it's a challenge for him because it's a step up, but I think having spoken to him, it's one that he's looking forward to. Bits and pieces that we can help add to his game at Dunfermline is full-time football at Championship level. He's going to have to get fitter. We've also got Andy Ryan, Gabby McGill, Lewis McCann, Callum Smith, Ryan Dow can play up front as well. So there's genuine competition for places that, you know, he's going to have to be performing at a good level if he's going to be starting, as are the other strikers at the club.
You have mentioned before that you're still looking to bring in a couple of players. You also mentioned in a couple of interviews you're looking to bring in a little bit more width to the team. Do you feel that that's the main area still to be addressed?
Yeah, well, I did say towards the end of last season that the one thing we struggled was scoring goals, and that's not necessarily a dig at strikers all the time. There's got to be a certain type of delivery, there's got to be a through pass and creativeness in the team as well, and you know, it's important that we try to identify the right person to come in, but we're working hard again to try and identify the right person. Possibly, you know, it might be that we can get a couple in wider areas to again bring that creativity and ammunition there for strikers to get on the end of.
Again, you've been busy on the pitch in terms of signings, but also off the pitch with Jason Dare coming in. What could you say about him stepping up from Dundonald Bluebell, because that's a big commitment for him to make as well?
No, it is. And the one thing I'll say about Jason, he stepped away from football on a professional level 8 years ago and was fully committed to a job that he's walked away from, or not walked away from. He's part of the company, and it shows the commitment levels, and you know, one, the faith that he's got in his own ability and his knowledge of football, but he also knows the drive that myself and Greg and everybody connected to the club, you know, he spoke with Ross as well about coming in, and you know, we were very transparent in where we see the club going. Jason, the one thing that he's got is he's experienced being a young player coming through, and the demands at a club like Dunfermline, Wraith Rovers, where supporters get on your back at times, and then equally you don't get too carried away when there's good times. So he'll be able to pass on a lot of knowledge, a lot of he'll talk a lot of sense to the players, and he'll have their best interests at heart to make them a better football player.
You maybe know a bit more than me in terms of Jason's experiences over the last few years, but being manager of Dundonald Bluebell, he maybe hasn't seen a lot of SPFL games, so do you feel that maybe helps when he comes in and maybe a fresh pair of eyes for the players, for the surroundings, and just maybe gives a few fresh ideas in that aspect?
Well, as I say, Jason, the one thing Jason is as well, educationally he was very intelligent, you know, and sometimes as a football player you don't get that thrown at you too often, but he's very much a thinker, tactically awareness, very good, but he's level-headed, he's not a knee-jerk man. As I say, he'll have the best interests of the club at heart as well, so one that I'm excited with. I trust him 100%, you know, I know he'll have my back. I know every decision that he makes will be genuinely for the best interests of this football club, and one that I'm actually looking forward to working with. And as I say, the bonus there is that he knows both myself and Greg. I played at Castlebridge with Jason when we were 14-year-old, and we've been tight ever since then, but it's not just a case of Jason coming in because he's a mate. He genuinely is going to bring something to the table that will help players develop.
first day or full day back at pre-season today. Spoke to a few of the players earlier and they were saying how tired they were. I suppose that's a good sign from your perspective?
No, they worked hard. They worked hard. We had a testing day on Monday, and there were a couple that their body fats were slightly over the mark, so they've had a couple of tough days, and then they got a day off yesterday. But it was good to get the boys in. The initial buzz of obviously the new faces, but we're just saying coming over there that the actual quality, the ball was out, you know, which is unusual sometimes at pre-season, but modern day football, the ball comes out and you get your conditioning running as well, but the quality of the football was decent, so exciting. It's good to see the boys getting on, and as I say, they're currently doing a gym session, and then they'll get a hard session tomorrow on the running track.
You've spoken about the style of football that you want to play, some kind of rule changes generic way in football, maybe going to help that over the course of the season. Goalkeepers now allowed to play the ball from goal kicks into the defenders inside the box. Do you feel that could only help not just Dunfermline but football in general, that nice free-flow football?
No, I've always said that at first team level you've got a responsibility to make sure that you're not causing yourself trouble by trying to play in stupid areas. If it's on to play from the back and that's going to encourage people, then great, because there's nothing better than seeing somebody zip the ball about and try to break through the lines with passing football. But equally, you know, sometimes it's a dying art that a clip ball over the top for somebody to run onto in the right areas and then, you know, get in goals. It seems to be something that, you know, there's only a few teams that know how to do that now. But if it's a rule that's been brought in to try and encourage people playing passing football, then it'll make it a better spectacle. I'm all for it.
The chairman came out a few weeks ago at the end of the early bird period and spoke about the sale of season tickets and how positive the uptake had been. At that point it was 1,675, I presume it's a lot higher than that now, so it's great to see the fans are getting behind yourself, your new coaching staff and the new players that have came in.
No, it's fantastic, because in the back end of a season where there was probably more lows than there were highs, for the turnover and season tickets to be up where it is at the moment is fantastic. And I've always said that Dunfermline fans are a very loyal bunch, and they'll get behind the team. It's up to us to make sure that the frustrations don't carry into next season, and I'm sure that with the additions that we've made, and hopefully with another couple of additions, we'll see more people put their hand in their pockets to buy their season tickets, which is greatly appreciated.
And just to finish up, only a couple of weeks to go until the first competitive action in the Betfred Cup, so friendlies and everything like that coming thick and fast. Yeah,
as I say, the Betfred Cup being brought further forward to make our season begin a lot quicker. It's harder to get friendlies against English clubs because they don't start back until later, and the other problem being is we had actually organised a friendly against Albion Rovers and then we draw them in the cup, so it doubles up your work. You try to prepare for things for the season ahead and you're actually doubling up your work, so it brings its own frustrations. But we've got 3 games, three decent friendlies, so we'll get a good pre-season under our belt. Hopefully come through it without picking up anything on the injury front, and look forward to St Mirren game.